Welcome to Risk Roundup. Connected computers, internet, information communication networks, and digitization capability are key components of the digital global age that brings each nation, its government, industries, organizations, and academia, in short referred to as NGIOA, high socio-economic value as they contribute towards its digital transformation. While the Internet is currently at the core of global computer communication infrastructure, next generation network technologies, architectures, and protocols are necessary to overcome the current limitations brought on by the gaps in innovations in technologies and processes to add new capabilities for the digital global age and the coming tomorrow of space age. Irrespective of cyberspace, geospace, or space, we, the humans, have always explored the space in which we live or exist. It is the environment of the ecosystem surrounding us that pushes us from time to time by the need for new ideas, new innovations, discoveries, technologies, and processes that occur in our time, thereby pushing the boundaries of our very potential and existence. The digital global age has brought us to a similar juncture where the information, communication, digitalization technologies, along with the rapid advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, natural language processing, and other great innovations that are going even further, pushing the very boundaries of imagination, innovation, and inner drive. Rich in data, potential, and possibilities, these imaginations and innovations are exploring and redefining the very foundation of the human relationship with the current and emerging technologies. The ongoing and emerging technology and processes changes are fundamental to each and every one of us across nations as it affects the very fundamentals of how we operate as not only nations but as a society that is getting surrounded and transformed by technology. Having said that, as traditional computers give way to tablets, smartphones, Internet of Things, and more, the need for symmetric communication between we the humans and different form of computers is becoming essential. We are at a juncture where different forms of computers and machines are not just receivers of human instructions, but collaborators that are able to harness a full range of natural modes, including language, gesture, and facial or other expressions that are hands-free and non-visual is becoming very important. So to discuss one such idea and innovation further, I'm delighted to welcome Joaquin Gomez Moya. Joaquin is the CEO of Pro-Asistech based in Spain. In addition to Pro-Asistech, Joaquin is heavily involved in bringing new technologies to life in the global markets. Welcome, Joaquin. We are honored to have you on Risk Roundup.
Thank you for inviting me to this great opportunity to meet your audience, Jayshree.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Joaquin. So let's start with a very fundamental discussion about what is a man-machine interface.
All right. First of all, I'll try to keep this not too academic, so everybody can understand us no matter the background. I say that whatsoever allows or enables us to handle or to operate a machine, a tool, or to manage a facility equipment is a man-machine interface. But as artificial intelligence is going more and more sophisticated, it is also whatever allows it to exchange relevant, significant information for both parties, for them with human too.
That is a good explanation, Joaquin. So why do you think there is a need for more user-friendly man-machine interface? Why do we need that?
Well, first, there's one need in our side, the consumers, the citizens, so we can accept the new technologies, we can implement it more rapidly, more easily, with less costs. But as AI is going more complex, as I've said, there's a need for us to find these new interfaces, specifically for these high-level solutions.
Right. So, how many different types of man-machine interfaces are available currently? What is your observation? How many interfaces are available right now?
From our standpoint in Jayshree, it's not as important whether they are utilizing one technology or other, or whether they are mechanical, electrical, electronical, software, or whatever, or any other nomenclature we can think of. The most important thing for us is whether they are one-sided or two-sided. Yeah, because we cannot expect just to be obeyed, to be the final goal would be to be understood, but at least to have some interaction with these so complex new machines and intelligence we are dealing with.
That is a very good point, Joaquin. Now, in terms of the far-reaching areas of your new venture, man-machine communication, now if we get to a stage in this century where communication isn't a factor anymore, what do you see happening next in terms of the man-machine intelligence and our very human society?
Well, that's a good question for the science philosophers, for sociologists, or in case we both want to write a book together. Well, I'll try to make it short and simple.
Okay.
I think we are facing a whole new world where we ought to get used to non-human intelligence. Intelligence which is able for articulated speech. This is, I think, this is the habit, the custom we should acquire.
Yes. Now, how do you think has advances in technology changed the way man and machine communicates with each other? What technologies, advances do you think have played a role in this?
Well, it is not, from my standpoint, it is not as much that our machines are coming an interlocutor as, or most of our machines and what we are calling roughly perhaps artificial intelligence are coming an interlocutor, but that we can communicate with these machines in ways that are natural for us, that are not requiring an instruction book.
Yes. Now, how would you describe the current state of human communication with computers?
Mm-hmm. Well, we are trying to approach in this more natural way to convey a lot of information with a single word or a single eye movement or some brain electrical signal by different means, reading our brain directly, reading our signals and hand gestures, reading eye movements, trying to speak a natural language. This is the cutting edge. This is the status of the art right now.
I see. Now, when we look at the nature of man-machine communication, it is understood to be sharing of complex ideas in collaborative contexts. Mm-hmm. So, what are the developments in technology that assembles complex communication ideas from very basic elementary ones if we look at the given language and context?
All right. It has some relation with the previous question. What we are trying at the end of the day with this all attempts to reach artificial intelligence is in the interface with human is to be more meaningful and more complex and able to convey much more information with a single signal or interaction. So regarding the language and context ontologies, I say ontologies is the cutting edge natural language processing, and it's what's pretty fast. Other than that, I say if I had to single out one technology, that self-learning technologies are the next step.
I see, I see. Now, based on your observation, what are the current algorithms for assembling complex ideas from elementary ones, given the, diversity in language and context?
As far as we're concerned, we are utilizing neural networks and fuzzy logic.
Okay. Now, what are the algorithms for figuring out what to do or say during man-machine communication?
In this field, we are utilizing genetic algorithms.
I see. I see. That is good to know. Now, how would communicating with computers benefit nations, its governments, industries, organizations, and academia, and also the individuals?
All right, this is a very interesting question. Jayshree, very interesting. Well, current systems are quickly evolving, so we can have, for instance, risk assessment up to date, even real-time risk assessment, very complex scenario risk assessment. So we can take better informed decisions, but at the same time, we are running into a new kind of risk that we get into haste, into precipitancy, or that we tend to overrate artificial intelligence, expert systems, cognitive solutions, responses. We need to be aware, from a point of view, to be aware that that's one more and very well structured approach, but it is one more data we should be bearing in mind.
I see. Now, I see. Now, let's talk about your current venture that you have launched recently. I believe it is called HiThink. Can you explain to our global viewers and listeners what that is?
All right. I'll try to make it very easy and simple. HiThink is artificial intelligence platform to communicate with all kind of things, connected devices, algorithms, cognitive solutions, and artificial intelligence. Yeah, we are putting at the same level of communication and interaction all kind of natures of intelligence, no matter the nature or no matter the sophistication. That's the goal of HiThink.
That's very interesting. The name of your venture, HiThink, it's very intriguing. Can you explain what it means and why did you name it HiThink?
Well, we have already said that we are entering a whole new world, and we should smartly, intelligently be able to manage that and to embrace this reality, as we cannot disinvent it. So it is an attempt to signal our acceptance of the fact that we are facing this new level of communication that in the end will put some things, or things we still call things, at the same level or almost at the same level of interlocution with us.
That would be so amazing. Now, what benefits will HiThink bring to the nations, its governments, industries, organizations, academia, and individuals? That means each and every component of the nation and each and every individual. What benefits they will get out of this HiThink?
All right, this is one more very clever question and very deep. So I'm sorry that I'm going to try to give you a short answer, trying to focus in that I think is more relevant. Well, what is lying ahead of us is that those nations able to understand this new scenario, of which I think can be a key player, hopefully, those nations will be, and no matter whether they are, these nations are wealthy or not, the nations are able to understand this scenario, to read this new global digitalized world, will be in the winner team. Yeah. Sorry to be so abrupt. I don't want to be to convey some naivete around this. There's going to be winners and losers. The nations able to understand this will be winners. Short-sighted, too conservative countries, and again, no matter whether they are wealthy, we are looking. You are well aware of that. You are a very good expert in this field. That some nations, wealthy nations, are too conservative. For instance, here in Europe, we can see some Western Europe nations, wealthy nations, too conservative, too shy, too short-sighted. These countries will be in the losers' team, I regret to say. And then, third point, and I think it is very, very interesting, and I hope it's not too optimistic from my side. There are opportunities opening for some countries. And there are very interesting opportunities because of the young people. Those countries who have a good basis in the population pyramid are going to be able. I'm going to try some other approach. See, you and me are probably, you're younger than me, obviously, but you and me are probably in the first generation who is going to see artificial intelligence and these algorithms and the functioning and all these things, IoT, etc. Running. Yeah, our grandparents didn't see that, but our daughters and grandchildren and our sons are going to be the first generation who is born inside this world. Artificial intelligence interaction is going to be natural for them. They are going to find different ways to take advantage and to profit and to manage their entrepreneurs, their initiatives, the way their style of life, even not only the business side, but the personal lifestyle too. And then those countries with a bigger young population are facing big opportunities. And I'm meaning people like those in the Indian subcontinent, like India, nations from Latin America, but especially, and this is the more relevant potential change or driver for change in the new world we're facing, in the sub-Saharan Africa, Black Africa. And I find it very interesting.
Yes, no, definitely. Those are some really good points that you made. Now, what kind of implications for society do you think that this technology, that is your technology, HiThing, has?
Well, if I had to mention only two, I'd single out general access to technology. It'll be seamless, it'll be much more easy, quick deployment of new technologies, or everything which is involved in the fact that we are not going to need that instructions book. That even today, well, we have no need to be knowledgeable on the technology itself, but we still have, in most of the occasions, we have to know how to manage or to handle the gear lever or the wheeler or the buttons of the menus console or whatever. Well, we are not going to need this in most of the cases. So
that would be a big impact.
Yeah.
That is really good. That is very interesting. Now, what do you think are HiThing's shortcomings that you feel that I wish this technology did all these things too that would benefit the society, what do you think are the shortcomings?
Well, we are pioneers, so we must be very humble, and we shall have to accept whatever the developers community and the industry, the customers, and the nation's government, IOA, throw to us back when they answer to our proposal. We'll keep our eyes open.
Yes, yes. Now, what are the technical foundation of your venture HiThing? That is I'm sure it's computational linguistic, man-machine communications in natural language. What do you think are the technical foundations?
Well, our main contributions are two fields. Natural language processing, but then the integration of it all. Let me try to explain myself. The integration between the algorithm of natural language processing with the bot, telling the machine what the machine is, and then this is in the things end, and then the integration of this things end with the app in the people's end, and it all with the platform communicating, yeah, with a scalable, reliable platform able to run smoothly, to connect real-time everything.
Great. So now, how would nations be able to use HiThing, products if there is any country like, let's say, China or Japan or India or USA or Mexico, any country wants to use it, how would they be able to use this product?
Well, we are launching it technically for experts and restricted access right in the coming days, and we are presenting it to corporates. We work with a schedule that we are going to be able to launch it when we come back from summertime. In any case, we expect to make it before the end of the year. So, to be honest, I'm still not able to deliver some commercial claim or tagline or some. I cannot figure out the way, because it's so new and it's so powerful. I am uncertain how it can impact the different nations. I think it's going to be depending on the previous structure and some social and cultural and industrial traits.
I see.
The nation's case.
But it is your desire to take it global, right? I mean, you don't want to keep this product only for your nation. You want to take it, you want all the nations to benefit, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Right. Now, what problem do you think this HiThing will help them to solve? If the nations, get interested, how would they benefit?
Well, if I reduce, and I know you are going to tell me this is a mistaken and reductionism, quite European reductionism, but if we take nation as government, then I would say that the control of a strategic artificial intelligence is one very important issue. The ability to interact from the top management of companies, big corporates, and governments, and big research centers with AIs we could that would qualify as strategic AIs is one thing I would single out. And well, I am Spaniard, We have what what is very likely the best organ transplant organization in the world. So I would like to think that the extension and deployment of social services, of health system, educational systems, and protection, civil protection systems would be some of the very relevant aspect of these advantages for the nations.
I see, I see. Now, what value would any nation put on innovations like Haiting?
Well, it's going again. It's going. Sorry that I'm so abruptly honest, but it's going to depend on the top management dynamics in every nation. Is going to depend on the citizens' cultural approach to new technologies. It's very different in Pakistan or Japan, Botswana or Italy. It's going to depend on the educational level. It's going to depend on the money and lifestyle every society is enjoying. It's multifactorial, so I cannot risk a more precise answer at this point.
Right, fair enough. I understand that. Now, what other products in the marketplace would nations consider instead of this, Haiting product that you have? Are there any comparable products that are out there, across nations?
Yeah, there are several companies trying new cognitive solutions. We are collaborating with IBM and expect to develop this collaboration further. And they have this Watson platform. I find it very interesting. And when it comes to the platform kernel or nucleus of our solution, Watson is quite has some overlapping features. Then, when it comes to the interface, what we call the people's end, we find several solutions in the marketplace: Snapchat, Telegram, all these things. Everybody knows, not only youngsters, but everybody is utilizing nowadays in the smartphone.
Yes. Now, what are the existing products on the market lacking that Haiting benefits from? How do you think is your Haiting, different and better than the rest of the products?
Well, our starting point is a different vision. So, chat programs, for instance, a typical chat program is if we stay in that stage, we are not understanding the age of where we are entering. We are not being able to interact complexly with artificial intelligence algorithms, cognitive solutions. We are missing a lot of advantages. If we speak of the artificial intelligence platform I've been speaking of in the previous question, then the outstanding thing is that they lack interface, they lack human context.
That is a good point. Now, who are your customers at this point for Haiting?
Everybody?
Everybody, okay.
Well, we are coming back to a more humble answer. We are scheduling a calendar to present this solution to two main industrial sectors. On one hand, health systems lab equipment, medical devices, because we need to develop a new barometer and have no obstacle in the recession by the news who is going to operate with this fantastic cutting-edge technology, a barometer or pipette or robot. So that's definitely one of. Secondly, we are targeting appliances, domotic, smart factory, this wide, this broad dominion of applications for the same reason.
Okay. Now, what do you think are your customers, the current customers that you have for Highthing? What do you think are their unmet need?
Well, the news is that we communicate as you, Jayshree, and me are doing right now, despite my awful English. We are born with natural language. Our brains are hardwired for natural language. We don't need anything but a mom to teach it to us in the most natural way. The time we are spending learning how to get a machine or the algorithm, we could better be spending it overnighting the machine, in the first place. Secondly, if we speak of the industrial side, because that's for us, both consumers, citizens, if we speak of companies, of the business side, well, there are a lot of possibilities, preemptive maintenance. Yeah, the machine tells you that it is needing more reactants or reagents, or it is needing a review of whatever, of sound entertainment. If you are the manager, you can see the way the installed base is operated, really operated, because it is not a console in a dashboard or a scoreboard with a lot of numbers. It is the machine which is telling you what is really relevant and significant. Yeah, I think there are a lot of different possibilities for the companies in this business side that are nowadays unmet.
I see. Now, how are your customers addressing this need today, even if poorly, without having there's a sound there. Yeah. So, how are your customers addressing that need today, even if not, very efficiently, even if they are doing it poorly?
Well, sorry, there is some trouble.
Yeah, it's fine now.
All right. Well, what we are doing today is learning to push buttons in the console without any interaction, yeah, or making some physical or electrical management, which is really poor. Is previous to Neolithic, or there are. In the best of cases, a set of menus, or screens where the interaction is poor, is difficult, where the relevant data do not stand quickly and easily, or where anything which is very single for us, very, very simple for us to do, it is really hard to put the machine to work. So it has nothing to do with this rich interaction we are able to do when we are managing, when we are doing it in natural language.
So you feel strongly that what you are proposing for the product Highthing, that there is a strong need for that across nations. You feel that?
Yes, the strong need. Absolutely. The idea, you see, the idea was born in our family context. We are all family men in India. But then we noticed that we are experts in automation here in Pro-Asistech. We noticed that our customers had a very bad time whenever they had to deploy new technology, new automata, new networks, etc. So the idea is born there, and I think we are really going to make a huge impact in people's life.
Good, good. Now, let's talk briefly about the speech technologies. What are the advances in speech technologies? The voice user interface for man-to-machine communication.
All right. Well, we are, as far as I'm concerned, I'm very honestly put. We are utilizing, this is not just text-to-speech, speech-to-text tool. It's very much more than that. So we are utilizing the already public domain cellular tools, yeah, in this field. We are not innovating or inventing anything in this field.
Good. So it's much more integrated. Now, while other computer interaction methods are artificial tools where people must adapt to the computer, voice interaction, it reverses this by putting the burden on the computer to understand the human. So how difficult it is for the computer to understand human, because where you are going with high thing, the computers will also need to understand humans.
But, well, this is a deeper question than it could seem first sight. Machines, computers, or even artificial intelligence does not understand human so far. And they are far, far away from understanding us. One other thing is that language is something almost worked out. Language. But language understood as articulated speech. There is another approach, separated approach to catch feelings, our state, our mood, to catch gests with the hands or with the face. All of them unarticulated, not in a comprehensive way. And that's when we are speaking only of our whole real linguistic context, which is not only articulated in speech context, not only syntaxis, not only semantic. So let me put an example. Because it has some implicit risks not to understand this. When one very good and responsible type who is a head of family is driving from office to home, and he's got a very bad day, well, maybe he starts shouting to somebody who makes some wrong maneuver, and well, but then he's going to pick up his wife, who is waiting for him, and to see daughter who is in a ballet representation in the school. And then he finds the guy he has been shouting to a couple of minutes before. And he's going to, and he's the father of his daughter best friend. Imagine, he feels embarrassed. He wants that earth swallows him. Imagine that we have an artificial intelligence, or even worse, if artificial intelligence learning from driver's behavior. maybe this artificial intelligence would learn to be some nasty, some aggressive, some violent creature, because it's lacking the context. There are so many in social media. It is all the same. You can find that one adolescent boy is writing some stupidity because he's hungry with some, say, with Sanjeev. Sanjeev is an son of a Indian family in the school, in the secondary institute, and is looking him mischievously sideways because Sanjeev thinks he's looking at his sister, and he feels protective. So he's that afternoon writing something stupid and dumb in texting some bullshit, and sorry for my language, and then mom calls, the dinner's ready, and he's going to run downstairs to help mom or dad lay the table. The day next, he's going to have some words in the playground with Sanjeev, and then he goes, and the sister is beside him, and he falls immediately in love, and he thinks it's the most lovely thing in the world, and he feels stupid, and he would give anything to erase what he wrote. But then in artificial intelligence, in social media, maybe thinking that it is acceptable that we are racists or whatever. So this lack of the whole human context, of the whole set of inhibitions in our behavior, it is very important. I think one of the best advantages of I think, another solutions like this, but especially I should point out, if you allow me, I think, is that we are putting artificial intelligence in a broader context, the human context. We are going to feed the artificial intelligence around us, and there are much more than we think nowadays. And we are going to be feeding a richer experience.
Yes.
Now I think that's important.
Yes, it is, absolutely. Now, what are some of the recent technological advances that influence the design and development of the man-machine interface?
Regarding voice recognition, well, we have not made any discovering of finding, just profited from what is voice recognition common domain. Is again what I tried to tell it previously. It is not just text-to-speech, speech-to-text. It's the community, the integration, and the whole platform, artificial intelligence platform we are working on.
Okay. Now, although many technologies are commercially available at this point and have been widely applied, there are many technical, non-technical problems that remains to be solved. Where do you think there is need for more efforts?
Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Although many technologies are commercially available and have been widely applied across nations, there are many technical, non-technical problems that remain to be solved. Where do you see that there is a need for more efforts?
Well, first of all, because it's going to sound as though I was assigning some homework to everybody. So first of all, I should recognize that we are indebted to all the people who have been working new materials in digitalization, in new algorithms, encryptation, new concepts. Albeit, I would say it in utilizing your NGI-OA terminology. I think that From governments, we need, they lead a new vision of educational systems. I put that in the first place. We do need that governments take this seriously, and not many of them are doing it. There are some organizations, some privately owned colleges, in Spain, some Catholic organizations, schools doing it, but we need the leadership from governments to rethink educational systems. So we teach knowledge. The age of conveying, of transmitting just information is over. Finished. Kaput.
Yes.
We need to
yes.
young people to knowledge. And this is hierarchy between concepts, what is first and what is second. So they are able to learn, to work things out, to solve problems, meaningful, real problems. Regarding this industry, I think we still need to progress in terms of standards, because at the bottom of all these, I think, technicalities, and despite we are utilizing standards of protocols, etc., communications, the type of files we are generating, and so far, we need more progress in terms of standards, global standards.
Yes.
Yeah. And regarding the organizations and academy, I think I mustn't say it. I think what we need is right what you are doing right now. What we need is people who's not afraid to enter these new fields and helping us to reflect on these issues. This is something that shouldn't be in our hands, in the hands of corporates, no matter whether they are corporates or startups. It's something that it is above our rank, so to say. It should be something where academia and organizations, civil society organizations should take their leadership and start thinking of social risks, technological risks, strategic risks and opportunity, changes, trends.
That is true. That is absolutely, you are absolutely right about that. Now, along the way to giving machines human-like capability so that it can speak and understand speech just like humans, there remains so much more that needs to be learned about, so many different things like how structure and meaning in language are encoded in the speech signal and how this knowledge can be incorporated into usable systems. So what do you think will be the criteria that would decide machines having man-like communication capability? Because that is probably the ultimate goal, right? We want the machines to speak to us so that, it's much more easier, the communication. So what do you think will be the criteria that would decide machines having man-like communication capability?
Sorry to be so taxative, Jayshree. I think natural language communication is going to be the standard, the default mode to do things, to do machines and to do communication solutions in the long run. Perhaps not so long as we may think of right now. Wherever there are some advantage when physical contact, for instance, when we need fine movements, very, very finely tuned to manage something complicated. Well, then we may need an interface where our hands are going to be important because they are an extraordinary tool. Or when we need to take care of somebody, well, physical touch and emotional touch is going to be very important. Whenever we really need, and it is not as many times as we may think now, but because we are using dashboards and things, wherever a console or a dashboard is really needed for some high-level technician to manage some facility or machinery, whatever, well, then natural language interface will be just supplementary.
Right, right. Now, human communication, when we communicate, it involves several coordinated processes, and they all happen in a sequence. Now, when we talk about machines or computers, so when we put ideas into words, the listener or the speaker, irrespective of whether it is human or the machine or a computer, it extracts ideas from words. And both of us, like computers and humans, or man or machine, they both would need to rely on context to narrow down the possible meanings of this ambiguous language. Now, all of these processes are very challenging, even for some humans. So, to think that it is easy for computers or machine is probably we are not evaluating properly. I think it's very challenging. It would be probably very challenging for machines. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, definitely our language conveys a lot of information which is very relevant for us, and that we are able to translate, to understand profoundly, because we are adding a lot of different layers that the interlocutor, the human interlocutor, is able to understand. First, he's able to understand what we are telling, the meaning of the words, the synthesis, etc. Like machines, like natural language processors. But then we are adding jets, face expressions, body language, intonation, the pace of voice. We are expressing our feelings, our moods. And the other person usually have or can make out or what is underlying our expressions, and is able to correct and to modulate what we are telling him, depending on our family, our the human context. It is not the same speaking with the same words or conveying the same message when we are with our family, at the office, in the job, partying with friends, when we are irritable, when we are upset, when we feel happy, we had a good day. Machines definitely are not able to do this so far, and we have a long way ahead of us, so that machines are able to interpret and correctly us, and to convey so much meaning in a single word expression, or the way we are looking at somebody.
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. Now, do you think we are getting to the point where the boundaries between man and machine communication is, just disappearing?
Sorry, I cannot hear well. Sorry.
Do you think we have reached a point where the boundaries between human and non-human, or man and machine, or human and computer communication is disappearing?
Yes, despite you may have realized, I'm a little concerned between the imbalance. I feel concerned about the imbalance between the ability to process the machines. The machines are very able to process a lot of information, but they are so clumsy, so unable to communicate effectively and to understand human thoughts properly. But yes, answering now your question, I think we are entering an age where all kinds of intelligence, no matter the nature and sophistication, is going to be able to reach out to us in between them. So we better start accepting it. We're not going to disinvent these new technologies, and we will have to learn to live in this new context.
Yes, no, that is very true. So, Joaquin, I think we are going to conclude our session here. We really appreciate that you took so much time out of your busy schedule and came on Risk Roundup, and you talked about your new venture, Highthing, and what it's. You explained everything about the product. You explained what are the needs, what are the market needs, and how the world is going to benefit from your product. So we really appreciate that, Joaquin. So thank you so much.
Thanks to you. It's been my pleasure.
Wonderful, Joaquin. So man-machine, that is human-computer communication, is evolving rapidly. The development of man-machine communication network is changing the very fundamental way in which we, the humans, and the computers, or man and machine, work and communicate, allowing unthinkable cooperation among human and non-human intelligence, who could be in very diverse locations, like irrespective of cyberspace, geospace, and space. When man-machine interface systems tend to mimic the real-world environment that we have as humans, driven by a combination of technology advances and application demands, every advance in technology introduces new questions about security risk and protection of not only users' personal data, but many other security variables, as it takes time to become confident or to develop security measures with the integrity of any new technology before it is trusted and widely accepted. Risk Group Cybersecurity Risk Research Center and Strategic Security Risk Research Center are created for this very purpose, so that we can identify, evaluate, and manage the risk facing NGIOA in CGS, and we can discuss, debate, and define necessary framework, structure, processes, tools, and technologies to manage the security risk of not only the digital global age, but also of the coming technological superconvergence. We at Risk Group believe that risk management, security, and peace work together hand in hand. Though security is related to management of threats and peace to the management of conflict, risk management is related to the management of security vulnerabilities as well as management of conflict. It is not possible to conceive any one of the three without the existence of the other two. All three concepts feed into each other. We believe that the security we build for ourselves is precarious and uncertain until it is secure for everyone across nations. Tradition becomes our security. So if we build a culture of managing risk effectively, it will lead us to security, and security will lead us to peace. Let's manage the existing and emerging risks together. For more information on the Risk Roundups, to watch the Risk Roundup videos, or hear the Risk Roundup podcast, please go to riskgroupllc.com, and do not forget to subscribe and share. Until next time, I'm Jayshree Pandya, host of Risk Roundup, signing off. See you next time. Thank you.